Welcome to Nightique. I'm Edward St. Pé. Tonight, Mark Jones, the Communications Director of the City of Clinton, tells us all about the great things going on in Clinton. Of course, you know, Lance Bass, the famous pop star, is from Clinton, Mississippi, and we're going to find out all of the great things going on there. Also with us, we've got our resident physician, Dr. Timothy Quinn. He's going to be talking about how to prevent Alzheimer's and what to do before you go to the doctor to get prepared to go. You know, Nellie Mack is in the green room. She's right now going at it, and that's our house band. Let's take a listen, and we'll be back with the show after this message. Miss Nellie Mack?
At Carter Jewelers, all permanently marked down jewelry is now 50 to 70% off. We purchase Cartier type quality diamond jewelry from a company changing their brand name. We're selling this jewelry at closeout prices.
I have built a lot of diamond jewelry with better quality and prices than 90% national brand, with 1 carat start at $1,000.
Neptune cultured pearls now 60% off. Whole case of diamond jewelry under $200 with a regional selection of jewelry including Pandora.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. Well, we've got from the City of Clinton, the Communications Director of the City of Clinton, Mark Jones. Mark, thank you for being with us. I appreciate you taking the time to come.
Thank you.
You know, as you go around the state, and when you come to Clinton, I mean, it's an extraordinarily artsy place, isn't it?
It is.
There's a lot of art going on there. You've got Wyatt Waters, of course. Lance Bass hails from Clinton, went to school there. You guys have a lot of art activity there.
Clinton has a very creative community, very creative environment, starting from our brick streets, which with Wyatt Waters Gallery now, the Hour Gallery that's down there, also several paint stores, some arts and crafts stores where people actually create their own products. Mississippi Craft Works there. Then you have the high school with the World Championship percussion team, and Attaché, which is the reigning national champion for show choir, and all of the alumni that have come out of there. Clinton has a great creative economy, and it's something that we're very proud of, and it's something that we hope Mississippi can be proud of as well.
Now, Lance Bass was discovered, became a young child star, and became, of course, a world-renowned pop star. Is that what he came out of Attaché?
Yes, he's an alumni of Clinton High School's Attaché show choir. Many other artists, Shelley Fairchild, Meredith Edwards, several others have actually performed on the national stage and have recording contracts, and they themselves are Attaché alumni.
Having Lance Bass as an alumni, I mean, that says a lot. He learned how to sing in that choir.
He learned how to sing. He grew up in Clinton. Again, it's a creative economy that starts not only in the schools but the churches. Everyone is connected in some way to music and arts in Clinton. It touches the very fabric of who we are as a community.
Now, speaking of schools, my thought originally was that there was another county in Mississippi that could claim being the top school system in the state, I guess. I was wrong. It's Clinton.
We're very proud to announce that the Mississippi Department of Education rankings came out, and Clinton Public Schools are Mississippi's #1 ranked school district, but they are also one of the longest running A school districts. Last year, one of only 5 or 6. This year, the top ranked school district in the state, and with about 5,000 students in the district, it's a fairly large district, and it's also a fairly diverse district. Basically, people from all ethnic and racial backgrounds come together in the most successful school district in the state of Mississippi.
Here's a question, just off the wall question. What about the crime rate? I mean, you know, you hear about the crime rate in the bigger cities around the state and such. is where does your crime rate? I'm sure, I have a feeling you're going to tell me it rates pretty low.
Clinton is ranked within the top 10 safest cities in the state of Mississippi. Over the past year, we have seen an actual reduction of crime all the way across the board of 45%. Our police chief, Mike Warren, and his officers and his staff are diligently working to find creative ways to reach out into the community, not just to police, but build relationships. And that's something that we've seen that has really brought down that crime rate in Clinton. But bring it all back together, it works in cooperation with the education system, with the school system. It works in cooperation with a creative economy, because when people's minds are active, when they are connected to their community, they police themselves on their own, and then they are more connected to that community for the long run. And it does have a positive impact, and we've seen that on the crime rate around the city of Clinton.
Well, what you just said makes, I agree, it makes sense. When you're passionate about something, number one, you don't have time to worry about other people's business or getting into nefarious activities, because you're so focused on what you're doing. And number two, if you're so focused on what you're doing, chances are you're going to become good at it. And if you become good at it, then you're going to make a lot of money.
Yes.
So it's like a success vein you strike into if you are passionate about what you do. What you just said, I think it kind of speaks to that.
Well, you speak of passion, and that is, I think, that something that sets Clinton apart is the passion of its people. We are fiercely protective of that beautiful city that just sits to the west of Clinton. We're passionate about not only our neighborhoods, but passionate about preserving the history of our old town, because it gives a backdrop for multiple events, for community-wide connection from our Brick Street markets and one of Mississippi's most successful farmers market throughout the summer, our Friday night, our Fresh at 5 market. We're fiercely passionate about our education, and we take pride in that. And by doing that, it brings us all together, and it joins us together, not just as a city, but it forms that bond that makes you a community.
Now, the mayor of Clinton, we spoke a little bit about him before we went on the air. Tell us about the mayor.
Mayor Fisher was elected a year and a half ago. He's a retired military officer, served multiple tours overseas in the Middle East. Very passionate. I'm very honored to work for him. This position was created by the mayor in order to connect the residents and bring some more transparency to government, but also, as it's developed, we're learning to market the city. And he's very passionate about telling the story of Clinton, telling the story of its past. Good. I just had lunch with him today, and he wants to tell the story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it tells us where we are, and it helps us move to where we need to be by understanding our past. So he's very passionate about that. I'm very proud to say that I work for a man who's willing to roll his sleeves up and get down and dirty. He's been out for the past few weeks, speaking of preservation, with a hammer and chisel, knocking asphalt off the historic brick streets that were hand laid back in the early 1900s by one gentleman. And Mayor Fisher is dedicated to that preservation, and again, creating that backdrop and preserving it, that place where we call community.
You mentioned he was a two-star general, retired two-star general. I think that says a lot about the character of that mayor, and he is the kind of guy, I mean, if you're going to go into battle, you want to go with that guy, I mean, battle, I'm speaking, metaphorically, but I mean, if you're going to go into any type of a situation, the mayor would be good if you had a two-star general as a mayor, I think.
It's great to go to work every day and work with people, not just the mayor, all the way to those who drive the street cleaner. They're passionate about their city, and they do it with joy. And we have fun working in the city of Clinton every day. We have fun serving the residents, but it's fun to follow a leader who gets down and is willing to serve right alongside those who we would consider maybe the rank and file, but he's down there serving with them. It's a great relationship.
Well, now we wanted to talk about Clinton, and boy, we sure have talked about Clinton. If folks want to find out more, I'm sure there's a website address. How do they cue into what you guys are doing?
The City of Clinton has a great new website, clintonms.org, clintonms.org. It has all the information, events, and ways to connect to the City of Clinton.
Well, the mayor made a great decision bringing you on, Mark, because now suddenly you guys are doing probably things that are new and different as far as the marketing of the city, and a great job.
Thank you.
Getting the word out, you know.
We're trying to give a sense of community, not only to the people in Clinton that they belong there, but visitors, that potential businesses, you belong here in the City of Clinton, and we want to make your life easier. We want to serve you and help you make your own dreams come true.
Thanks. You going to come back and visit us?
I am.
Okay,
It's
good.
great
Thank
to
you,
be
Mark.
here.
Very
Thank
much.
you.
That's Mark Jones from the City of Clinton, Communications Director. We'll be right back after this.
I had cracked teeth, crowns. My teeth were really, really bad. I started hearing about dental implant surgery. When I researched and saw what Clear Choice could do, I thought, maybe this is for me.
At Clear Choice, we bring hope to millions who suffer from missing or failing teeth with dental implants that look, feel, and function like strong, natural teeth.
All the specialists with all the technology they need are in one spot. It makes delivering this 21st century world-class dentistry very easy to do, and we do it in one day.
They can do something permanent that's always there. You never take it out, and it gives you that solid foundation.
Call today for your free consultation. We'll walk you through the entire procedure, including costs.
When those folks gave me the mirror and I looked at myself, these tears, it just makes you feel good. Clear Choice did that for me.
At Clear Choice, you're about to discover what you've been missing all these years. Call Clear Choice today.
Dr. Timothy Quinn, our resident physician, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, how important is it for someone going to the physician to prepare so when they meet with the doctor, they can quickly get on the right path and communicate?
Right, right. Well, you know, this is a great topic because a lot of people go to the doctor for the first time ever. And this is the worst case scenario, okay? I walk in the room and there's a patient that's a senior citizen, and maybe because of their age, their communication skills are not as good as they used to be. And you know, they'll want a refill on their sugar medicine and pressure pills, okay? Now this is the worst case scenario. And you know, I'll ask them, did you bring the medicine with you? They did not bring it. The blood pressure will be very elevated. I'll ask them, did they take the medicine today? They did not take it today. I'll ask them what pharmacy they use. They don't know. Now this actually happens, okay? And this actually happened a couple of days ago. So what I did was, I told the lady, I said, I'll be right back, ma'am. Because, you know, well, before I said that, I asked her, did she have anyone with her? And she said she was dropped off by her daughter or whatnot. And I said, I'll be right back. So I went in the lab and looked in her chart, and I noticed her daughter is her emergency contact. I got the daughter on the phone. I said, ma'am, where are you? She said, well, I'm at the mall. My office is right around from North Park Mall. She was at the mall shopping. I said, ma'am, I want you to come on back to the office and we're going to see your mom together. And she came back, and, you know, she didn't understand why she had to come back. She said she just needed a refill on her medication. Well, I said, ma'am, just, you know, basically the first thing, she was able to tell me what pharmacy they used. I was able to call the pharmacist and get her medication list. Give me a little history that the lady was unable to articulate, and also to help me with the plan so that we could do a good job. So where am I going with that, right? Number one, if you have a mother or father or someone that, you know, might be advanced in age and might not have the best communication skills, go with them. Go to the doctor with them and go in the room with the patient so you can be their liaison to help them have a better experience with the doctor. The second thing is, always take your medication bottles with you to the doctor. This is the case for a new appointment or even follow-up appointments. So a patient the other day asked me, she said, why do I need to bring my medicine when you got it written in the chart? I said, because guess what? Sometimes the pharmacist might make a mistake. I had a patient the other day that was on Norvasc, and her blood pressure was very elevated, and she said she feels lightheaded. She brought the bottle, and it was Norco, which is a pain medicine. I mean, so take your medicine with you, take a liaison if you need someone with you. Also, it's a good idea to write down your thoughts before going in with the doctor. I know you've heard that before.
Well, no, not exactly, but I can. It makes sense.
Well, you got to think about it. The doctor walks in, he's rushed, you know, and a lot is going on, and you might forget everything you want to say. And I'm a doctor, and you know, I actually forgot what I wanted to say one time, you know, because it's a little overwhelming, you know. So it's a good idea to make a list, you know. You want to talk about the fact you're urinating a lot at night. Talk about the fact you had a little chest pain last week while you were running with your grandson. Talk about the fact that your bowel movements are not as frequently, you know, as they used to be. All this is important information because the physician is only as good as the information provided to him. Yes, we rely on like the blood pressure readings, the glucose readings, the cholesterol, but the patient history, that's just as important. It really is, because if you can let the doctor know what's going on a day-to-day basis, man, he could be quite an advocate for you.
Now, Alzheimer's, is this something that's increasing? Are you seeing this at an increasing rate? Is there a reason why we are seeing it more these days maybe than we saw in the past, or are we just diagnosing it more frequently? Or
diagnosing it more frequently. People are going to the doctor more. You know, we got, you know, healthcare exchange, you know, a lot more people out there getting insurance that didn't have it before. Actually, the Alzheimer's are more going to be the Medicare patients that had it, but people are going to the doctor more. Information is more available, and, you know, people are getting help. There are more medicines out there for it. But that's a perfect example of that population of patients that needs to take someone with them to the doctor so they can articulate on their behalf. Because, you know, as I said, you know, if you have a grandmother or a mother, you just drop her off, and she can't let the doctor know what's going on, he's not going to be able to do as good a job.
You know, in the old days, they said, well, he's suffering from old age. Or, you know, he's old, he's forgetful. But there's a name for it today, Alzheimer's.
Right.
And I've witnessed it because my grandfather had it.
Oh yeah.
And he was older. I mean, it wasn't like he got it young, but he got it, and he was you know, he just basically became kind of looking around and kind of became sort of like disconnected.
It's very difficult.
But how I'm curious. How does this become such a serious affliction that it can be fatal? I mean, why? I mean, it doesn't seem like there's anything fatal about not really knowing where you're at.
The number one reason why, you know, it becomes fatal is people get more infections, they take care of themselves less.
I see.
But the bottom line is it can be a very debilitating disorder. That's why it's a good idea if you have a family member that's starting to have these problems, write it down. And when you go in with the doctor, say, Doc, you know, Mom, you know, she hadn't really been, you know, very attentive to herself lately. Maybe she forgets to take a bath some days.
Well, what is is there a treatment that works for that?
Yeah, oh yes, but now here's the deal. With Alzheimer's disease, you have to catch it early and start the treatment early.
What's the treatment?
Well, the main one that we use is Aricept.
It's a drug?
It's a medication, drug, and what it does is it works with the imbalance in the brain, but the catch is you got to start it early, because it doesn't, to a certain extent, it does not really reverse the changes, but it slows the progression. So if you have a family member that's exhibiting symptoms of Alzheimer's, they're very forgetful, and you know, you let the doctor know, then they can go ahead and start the medication, and their function level can be preserved. But if you ignore it, and then you get to the point where they can't do anything for themselves, their activities are none, and you start the medication, there's not a whole lot of effectiveness of the medication at that stage.
Is it similar to some of the psychotropic drugs that they use for depression and such, the serotonin levels? I mean, is it something that when you treat Alzheimer's, is it something that you're treating the brain?
You are, but you're dealing with different neuropeptides. You're dealing with the dopamine levels in the brain. It's a different pathway. Now, they are using some of the neuroleptics for Alzheimer's with severe anxiety, but that's a whole different deal. But the bottom line is the take-home message for the viewing audience is, if you have a family member that's exhibiting those symptoms, go ahead and get them checked out early. And that way, you know, that they can be properly evaluated, and if they need Alzheimer's medication, it can be initiated in the early stages when it can actually be helped. Or they might have depression. Some elderly patients that have depression have symptoms that are very similar to Alzheimer's, and they might need the depression medication. But the bottom line is you have to let the doctor know.
Okay, here's something now. Now this is an unscheduled question, but we know that women go into what's known as menopause.
Menopause.
And is it possible that men, when they go into middle age, some men complain of depression?
Oh, yes.
And is it possible that a drop in the male testosterone level would bring on depression?
Oh, yes. Any change in hormones can have different effects on specific individuals from one to one. But the bottom line is there is a higher prevalence of, you know, men having some depressive symptoms with low testosterone levels. That's why, you know, for a lot of my men, you know, in my questioning, especially when they give me different parts of the history that might lead me in that direction, I'll do a testosterone level. And I've had men that have had lab results to come back to show low testosterone. Now, that's not something I treat as a family doctor. Some family doctors do treat it, but I refer them to an endocrinologist, which is a hormone specialist, and they'll put them on this testosterone, either injections, they can use different gels, topical for the skin. But the bottom line is a lot of the symptoms that these men are experiencing, they can be alleviated so well. I've had so many men that say, man, I never thought that I could feel that good again, you know.
Because of the testosterone therapy?
Oh, yes. You know, they have energy.
Depression leaves?
Well, we can't say depression leaves, but in a lot of cases their mood is made better. And also a lot of the wives, well, one wife pulled me to the side, thank you, doctor, thank you. She was very happy, and I think you might know why she's happy. Her husband is able to perform better and give her a more loving physical relationship.
You know, and I would imagine another antidote for this type of situation would be physical exercise, right? Because you kind of get yourself moving and,
you
kind of
have
going
a boost of male hormone with the physical exercise, most definitely. But at the end of the day, if someone has a medical chemical imbalance where they have low testosterone, that's something that can be simply evaluated by just a simple blood sample and cured by going to see my buddy. His name is Dr. Wu. That's who I refer to. He's the best endocrinologist in town, and get them on the medication, and in a lot of cases their life can be changed.
Okay, the last question, I wanted to get to it before when we were talking about Alzheimer's. The span of, we usually think of Alzheimer's as something that affects older people.
Right.
But what is the entry level where you've seen relatively young people that have been diagnosed? How young can it be that you might encounter Alzheimer's?
Well, me personally, I haven't witnessed anyone under the age of 55 personally, but I've read about cases where there have been younger cases. Usually, though, it's more prevalent in the senior citizen
Okay,
population.
what age? It's prevalent what age?
60, 65, 70, and so on. It's very rare. It has been documented, but it's very rare that you see it before that age.
So 60, 65 is the usual onset, perhaps, and then later.
Now, if you talk to a psychiatrist, because as I said, a lot of the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease can mask depression and anxiety and so on. They may have some cases that are a little less usual just because they have such a great number of people suffering from those problems. But the bottom line is, any type of symptoms that you're having, anything unusual, convey that to your physician, and don't be ashamed about it. You know, because the thing is, as I said, the physician is only as good as the information provided to him. I tell the patients, look at me like a detective. Give me some clues, man. If you give me some clues, I can solve the mystery. And if you don't, I'm helpless. So basically, by you writing down the information, letting the doctor know what's going on, you're helping the doctor do his job. And if you have a doctor that, you know, does not want you to have your list and sit down and take the time, you might need to find another doctor.
Well, Doctor, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us, to our audience. I hope that we've helped some folks out there. Every time we do one of these shows, I think that we are helping people.
Oh,
so
yes, we are.
Thank you, Doc.
Hey, thank you.
I appreciate you very much.
All right.
Dr. Timothy Quinn, and thank you for being with us. Stay tuned.
At Carter Jewelers, all permanently marked down jewelry is now 50 to 70% off. We purchase Cartier-type quality diamond jewelry from a company changing their brand name. We're selling this jewelry at closeout prices.
I have built a lot of diamond jewelry with better quality and prices than 90% national brand, with 1 carat start at $1,000.
Neptune cultured pearls now 60% off. Whole case of diamond jewelry under $200 with a regional selection of jewelry including Pandora.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507. Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of Nightique. We thank our guests, Dr. Timothy Quinn and Mark Jones from the City of Clinton, for being with us. If you'd like to comment on the show, or if you have an idea for a show, or perhaps a guest that would be a good interview, you can email us directly from our website, which is nightique.com. That's NIGHTIQUE.com. And also at that location, you can see some of our archived shows. See you next time on Nightique.